What should I do?
Ah, ich weiß.
Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lenz and you're watching Get Germanized, 10 German words that even most Germans say wrong. I'm sure you know these kinds of words in your own language as well, where it's like dialect or slang to say a certain word a certain way, but if you look at the standard pronunciation, it is not correct. And these kinds of words, the most common mistakes that many Germans make, we will talk about today. So let's get started. Lasst uns anfangen. First up, the German word for broccoli. Most Germans tend to say Brokkoli. Der Brokkoli. Ich mag Brokkoli. But the correct pronunciation here would be der Brokkoli. Ah, der Brokkoli. Ich liebe Brokkoli. I love broccoli. Broccoli. Damn it. Next up, the German word for napkin. Germans tend to say Serviette. Die Serviette. Könnte ich bitte eine Serviette bekommen? While the correct pronunciation would be die Serviette. Die Serviette. Könnte ich bitte eine Serviette haben? Dankeschön. Could I get a napkin, please? Thanks. Next up, a common mistake is the German word for Hexkey, so the tool, the Hexkey or the Allen key. Many Germans tend to call it der Imbusschlüssel, der Imbusschlüssel. Hey, könnte ich bitte den Imbusschlüssel haben? Could you hand me the Hexkey, please? Der Imbusschlüssel is correct for some, but it is incorrect if you look at the standard pronunciation, which is der Inbusschlüssel. Der Inbus, not but der in. See, my lips are open. Inbus, not imbus. Not an M, but an N. Inbusschlüssel. Der Inbusschlüssel, the Hexkey, the Allen key. Next up, a pronunciation that drives many Italians crazy, drives them mad. I know this because I've spoken to some who told me, why do they call this that way? It's infuriating. It is obviously this. And so it is the German word for oregano, because Germans tend to pronounce it Oregano. Könnte ich bitte etwas Oregano haben? Oregano, der Oregano. But of course the correct pronunciation here would be slightly different. It is oregano, not oregano, so not the stress on the ga, but on the re. Oregano, not oregano. I'm not sure how infuriating this is to Italians necessarily, since I've only spoken to a few. Maybe they were just easily to infuriate, let me know in the comments below. But this is something many Germans get wrong, and personally, probably me as well. Oregano, oregano, oregano. Oregano. English people have it right, I think, oregano. Huh. Next up, a mispronunciation of the word for Libya, the country. In German, we tend to say Libyen. Libyen, like there's an umlaut in the beginning after the L, Libyen. But in truth, it should be Libyen. Libyen, not Lü, where my mouth is round, Lü, but Li, where the mouth is open, Libyen. Libyen. Libya. Libya. Again, English are closer to the correct pronunciation here, I think. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the correct pronunciation is probably something completely different, of which I have no idea. But in German, it's Libyen. Next up, the German word for accessory, like the purse and stuff like that, but the accessory is the word we're looking at here. And many Germans call it das Accessoire. Accessoire, soir, or whatever. Das Accessoire, but of course that's wrong. Das Accessoire. It should be das Accessoire. I know it doesn't sound much better, to be honest, but it's the correct and standard pronunciation, at least in German. Das Accessoire. So next time you grab a purse or some other accessory, call it das Accessoire. Next up, we'll look at a German slang word that Germans use when they talk about a disadvantage or bad news or a negative thing. It's called der, well, first the wrong pronunciation would be der Wehmutstropfen. Der Wehmutstropfen. Oh, der Wehmutstropfen. it sounds correct because Wehmut is another German word that actually exists. And even the meaning of Wehmut could be correct here, but it's sadly not. Wehmut would mean wistfulness or melancholy. There we go. Okay, I don't get everything right either. I'm not saying that at all. But this is wrong here. Not Wehmut, but it would be der Wermutstropfen. Der Wermutstropfen. Der Wermutstropfen. Wermut is a German word used for different things like wormwood or absinthe, different things. But it's, in this case, der Wermutstropfen. Don't ask me where it came from, I have no idea. Maybe you do and can let me know, and us in the comments below. But in this case, the pronunciation that is correct here is der Wermutstropfen. Not Wehmut without the R and an H instead, but der Wermutstropfen. Next up, lecker, lecker, lecker pasta time. The German word for, well, I kind of give it away if I pronounce it correctly in Italian first. For some pasta, Germans usually call it tagliatelle. 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 Können wir heute ein bisschen Tagliatelle essen? Can we eat some today? But the correct pronunciation, as far as I know at least, would be tagliatelle. Tagliatelle. Not tagliatelle. It's the most German pronunciation I've ever heard. Tagliatelle. It's correct only for some, but they are wrong. And tagliatelle is correct for everyone. Next up, something that you can use when talking about The Lord of the Rings, for example, the trilogy. And Germans call trilogy, I mean, wrongly so sometimes, Trilogie. Because trio is like a trio, right? So 3 people or 3 things. So it sounds correct, but it's actually not. In this case, the correct pronunciation of trilogy is Trilogie. Die Trilogie. Die Trilogie. Not triologie, but Trilogie. We leave out the O there. Next up, another food item, nom nom nom. The German word for gelatin. Something vegetarians and vegans look out for on the daily. Is it with gelatin? No? Okay. But in German, the mispronunciation of this word often is Gelatine. Die Gelatine. Gelatine. There's an N in there, but it's wrong. It shouldn't be there, and the correct pronunciation is die Gelatine. Not Gelantine, but Gelatine. So we leave out the N. Gelatine. Gelatin in German. Which ones were your favorites so far? If you have any, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, activate the bell, all the good things. Follow me on Instagram because there I post about life in Germany. And well, if you want to watch more videos of mine, you can do so here or here about German sayings. How cool is that? Watch it now. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.